Okay, so I was probably gonna put this up later, like closer to the weekend, but then I realized that it's only the 26th, and I probably should put this up before I do my other video. So you're gonna see this today. So if you saw my community post, I was gonna put up the rest of Monster Hunter trailers, which I have basically ready to go, but probably should do this one first. So you'll see this one first, and then we'll go ahead and I'll put that one up there. But this one is the animated history of Christmas. It's about 7 minutes. There's an ad here at the end. The video's 9 minutes long, but we'll go ahead. We'll put this up. We'll kind of watch it, and yeah, we'll kind of learn about the history. Again, there's way more to it than 9 minutes. So obviously, like if I want to do a longer video, I'd have to find time to sit down and really record. Like there's documentaries of like 45-minute videos, but we're not going to do that today. We're just going to kind of get something up. It's late, but here it is. We'll go ahead and play.
Let's talk about Christmas. Where does Christmas come from? That's obvious. You type in the comments section, Christmas is about le baby Jesus. Case closed. Well, cozy on up to the fire, get your mulled wine or eggnog, put away a Christmas carol, and instead, let's break out. Rewind 2019 years. Jesus, the prophesied Messiah, or in Greek, Kyrios, Christ, was born in Bethlehem, birthing a brand new religion, soon to be united over the millennia, celebrating peace and love and... Just kidding, they split into like a million different branches. Christmas comes from Christ, Mass. Mass coming from the Latin phrase given at the end of the church ceremony, ite missa est. The first recorded Christmas was in Rome in 336, but in the East they probably celebrated it as well. Religion so often is used as a tool, and the Romans recognized its potential to unify their empire more cohesively. They had centuries of practice by this point after all, incorporating Etruscan, Greek, Celtic, and Germanic gods into their own pantheon, copying their neighbor's homework, editing it slightly so the teacher doesn't catch them cheating. But Rome had to do a lot of PR to make the new custom acceptable around the empire, especially when Christianity was made the state religion. It's all in how you sell it. First problem.
When to celebrate.
The Bible doesn't say what time of the year Jesus was born, but we do know it probably wasn't December because it does mention that it was grazing season. December was a Roman idea. Throughout Europe, ancient cultures had developed similar customs and religions based on the seasons. Nature was what all pre-Christian civilizations had in common. Who knows how the universe works after all? But I'll be damned if we don't pray for summer to come back during the winter festival unless anyone else has any better ideas. The same goes for the Romans. The god of agriculture, wealth, harvest, and fatherhood, Saturn, was venerated in a large Roman festival during the winter solstice, the height of winter, when the days were short, snow covered the land, and the ground was dead. Saturnalia was Rome's biggest festival, leading up to December 25th, and a new year, new summer, and new harvest was on its way. Christmas was moved to December 25th to coincide with and then replace the Saturnalia. Non-Christians did grumble and complain, but when eating, drinking, and partying stayed the same, who cares which god it was honoring, so long as the custom remained, until they encountered problem number 2.
Conquered the barbarians.
When the heathens of the north became Christians, they brought their own winter festivals with them. By far the biggest was Yuletide, celebrating the wild hunt of Odin to bring forth a new year and good fortune. They drank copious amounts of alcohol during these festivities, like wine and cider, boiled and spiced, served hot to keep them warm during the winter months. And by golly, if that doesn't sound familiar. Yuletide and Saturnalia left their mark all over Christmas like magical pixie dust. A Christmas tree was an evergreen, considered magical because it never lost its leaves in winter. Pagans brought these trees into their homes, a little piece of summer, to remind them of warmer weather, who adorned their trees with candles for light and apples to represent the Garden of Eden. Candles soon gave way to the miracle of electricity, and apples, smelly and rotten, were replaced by shiny glass baubles. What about the wreath on the door? A symbol of the Roman emperor, of course.
We probably don't want a bunch of candles on a tree. Brought into, again, it's a lot of wooden houses back then, so probably don't want that. So good job, electricity.
Mistletoe, a symbol of
obviously
Fertility was hung on the doors of the Romans during the Saturnalia. Its berries were thought to give off aromas and encourage some PG-13 fun time. But don't worry kids, nowadays a simple kiss will do. Just make sure you wear your paper crown from your Christmas cracker to mimic true Roman authenticity. These pagan rituals blended with Christian ones over time. The top of the tree was decorated with the Star of Bethlehem, which guided the three magi to the baby Jesus, or the angel Gabriel who appeared to Mary. Pop your presents under the tree, carefully labeled, ready to be opened after dinner on Christmas Eve. Christmas morning is for church, after all. Until, of course, the churches started holding later services on Sunday, allowing the citizens some well-earned rest from the previous day's festivities, and plenty of time to open gifts on Christmas morning instead. Which leads us to problem number 3.
Ho, ho, ho.
Gift-giving figures have been associated with winter festivals since ancient times. The Christian origin of this practice comes from the story of the three magi, also called the three wise men, who brought the infant Jesus gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and so was the custom for early Christians. Christendom also venerated a certain Saint Nicholas. One story tells of a poor family who left their washed stockings by the fireplace to dry, in which Saint Nick left them each a lump of gold. But the story doesn't end there. In Britain, a jolly green-clad gift-giver of English folklore visited peasants in the winter, bringing them gifts like toys and sweets for the children, and wine and food for the adults, nicknamed Father Christmas. In Germany, it was Odin, with his long white beard during Yuletide. In Finland, Joulupukki, pulled along by flying goats. It is here we also have the origin of elves, especially the Tomten, who helped farmers and peasants in winter with chores in the middle of the night. In Lower Germany and Austria, Kris Kringle, literally Christ child, a gift giver rooted in Germanic and Slavic mythology. In the Low Countries, Western Germany and Switzerland, St. Nicholas became Sinterklaas, a red-clad bishop who rode into town on a horse. Far off in the coldest of cold, frozen wasteland, the gift bringer in Russia and Ukraine was Ded Moroz, Grandfather Frost, the Slavic pagan wizard of winter who slowly morphed into a Christmas character. These ancient European pagan gift givers would become blended and mashed with the aforementioned St. Nicholas, cutting off some of the nasty bits and replacing them with the child-friendly
I didn't really like. I knew there was, obviously a couple. Like, he's got a couple different names, like Saint Nicholas and whatever. There's like that's basically all of Europe and part of Asia. It's just like, hey, we're gonna just blend everything together to make Santa Claus. That's cool. I didn't know there was that many, but that's pretty darn cool to see that there was actually a lot more than what you think. And again, if you just go off by the names, like you hear a lot of these names and whatnot, but yeah, that's a lot of different regions of Europe had, I guess, similarities, some difference. Father Christmas is like a green variation. That's kind of cool. Might have to look into some more of this stuff.
Jolly exterior, making him the most famous Christmas icon in history. We will never know for sure though, as children's literature ensured that Santa lived in the North Pole, where no child running away from home could possibly find him. Just leave him a glass of milk and cookies, or a carrot for his horse, or, in Australia, a nice pint of ice-cold beer. Sleep well, children, and celebrate the way humans have for centuries. What's that? Having trouble sleeping, you say? Too excited to open your presents?
All right, so this is the ad. So we'll go ahead and stop right there. I'm going to go ahead and take that off the screen. That's kind of the basic. Again, they didn't, they don't really talk about like Krampus, or there's kind of a darker kind of history to it and whatnot. But that's kind of like the basic version of it. And I knew some of that, but again, I didn't know there was so many like different variations of Santa that, again, all kind of mashed into one. But yeah, so that's how the legend of Santa and Christmas has really come around. Thank the Romans, I guess. Just said you're all gonna do this, and then I think it's interesting that they basically just put it on their last day of the holiday of their holiday, whatever it was called. I forget what they said it was. But yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, that's an animated history of Christmas. That's kind of a short version. Again, there's many documentaries or whatever that are like 40 minutes long or whatever. If you want to go find like a longer version, obviously you can find this version, the shorter version, down in the description below. If you just want to watch it without me commentating, which again, I'm not going to say anything. We're going to just let it go. We're just going to let it go. But it's going to be down there. Okay, it's gonna be down there. So you'll see the rest of the Monster Hunter trailers will go up Friday or Saturday. I'll kind of maybe give it a day here, buffer there. I still got to talk about the playoff picture, which we are coming down to the last 2 weeks. I got to do a video on that coming up too. So I got to figure out time to do all these things and figure it out. But for now, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we're on a New Year's, and we're coming up on 2025 and already, which is 5 days away, 5.5 days away. So I'm out of here. Peace.